This class going to be your last day practice English. Once you complete this class, you will not need to take any other class. I will ask you some simple questions about your morning. Do not worry about making mistakes. Take your time. Think in simple English. Are you ready? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Flow Podcast. Let me ask you something. What is the first thing you do when you wake up? Do you get out of bed immediately? Or do you stay in bed for a few more minutes? Do you check your phone? Do you drink coffee or tea? Maybe you have a busy morning. Maybe your mornings are slow and quiet. Well, today, I am going to take you through my morning routine, step by step. And this is not only a story about my morning, it is also a simple English practice lesson. As you listen, you will hear easy sentences and useful phrases that you can use to talk about your own daily life. So relax, take your time, listen slowly, and if you can, repeat some of the sentences with me. You do not need difficult English. You do not need long sentences. You can talk about your life with simple English. Welcome back to English Flow Podcast. I am Emma. Let us begin. I usually wake up at around 7 o'clock. When my alarm rings, I slowly open my eyes. I do not usually get out of bed immediately. First, I lie in bed for a few seconds. I look at the time. Then I think about my day. I ask myself, what do I need to do today? Do I have any important work? What time do I need to start? Sometimes I feel energetic when I wake up. I feel ready for the day. But sometimes I feel tired. I want to sleep for another hour. Maybe you know that feeling. The alarm rings. You look at the clock and you think, just 5 more minutes. Those 5 minutes can feel very important in the morning. But when I have things to do, I get out of bed. My feet touch the floor. I open the curtains. I let some light into the room. Then I make my bed. It is a very small task, but I like starting my day with something simple. The first useful phrase for today is, I get out of bed. I get out of bed. Now you try. I get out of bed. Very good. You can use this phrase every morning. After I get out of bed, I walk to the bathroom. First, I wash my face. Then I brush my teeth. After that, I look in the mirror. And honestly, I usually look a little sleepy. My hair can be messy. My face does not always look ready for the day. But that is completely normal. I do not expect to look perfect 5 minutes after waking up. I just need a little time to wake up. After washing my face and brushing my teeth, I usually take a shower. I really like taking a shower in the morning. A warm shower helps me feel fresh and awake. It feels so good after a sleepy morning. While I am taking a shower, I usually think about my plans. I think about my work. I think about the things I need to finish. I also think about the things I want to do later. Here is another useful sentence. I think about my plans for the day. Let us repeat it together. I think about my plans for the day. Excellent. You can also say, I think about my work. I think about my weekend. I think about my plans. Simple sentences, but very useful sentences. After my shower, I dry my hair and get dressed. Choosing my clothes is usually simple. First, I think about the weather. If it is cold, I wear something warm. If the weather is comfortable, I choose light and comfortable clothes. I do not usually spend a lot of time deciding what to wear. I do not want to stand in front of my closet for 20 minutes thinking, what should I wear today? I prefer comfortable clothes. I want to feel relaxed during the day. Here is a useful phrase. I prefer. For example, I prefer comfortable clothes. I prefer quiet mornings. I prefer tea. I prefer coffee. You can use I prefer when you want to say what you like more. Now, think about yourself. What do you prefer? Maybe you prefer coffee. Maybe you prefer tea. Maybe you prefer quiet mornings. Very good. After getting dressed, I go to the kitchen. Now, it is time for breakfast. Breakfast is one of my favorite parts of the morning. I usually like a simple breakfast. Sometimes I eat eggs and bread. Sometimes I have cheese and fruit. Sometimes I have yogurt or oatmeal. It depends on my mood and how much time I have. If I have a busy morning, I make something quick. But when I have more time, I like to sit down and enjoy my breakfast. I usually have a cup of tea or coffee with my breakfast. There is something nice about having a hot drink in the morning. I like sitting quietly, drinking my coffee or tea, and enjoying the morning. Sometimes I listen to music while I am having breakfast. Sometimes I listen to a podcast. And sometimes I do not listen to anything. I just enjoy the quiet morning. I look outside. I drink my coffee. And I take a few quiet minutes before the busy part of my day begins. Those quiet minutes are special. After breakfast, I usually check my phone. I look at my messages and emails. I check my notifications. I see if there is anything important. Because I work online, I sometimes have messages from students or other people. So checking my phone can be useful, but there is one problem. It is very easy to spend too much time on it. I tell myself, I will just check my phone for 5 minutes. 5 minutes sounds very short, right? But then I see one video, then another video, then another one. And suddenly, 30 minutes have passed. I look at the clock and think, where did the time go? Maybe you have experienced this too. You only wanted to check one message, and suddenly you are watching videos about something completely different. That is why, when I have a busy day, I try to put my phone away. I do not need to check everything immediately. Sometimes I just need to start my day. Here is another useful phrase. For example, I try to wake up early. I try to drink enough water. I try to spend less time on my phone. Now make your own sentence. I try to take your time. Excellent. After checking my important messages, I start thinking about my work. I like to know what I need to do before I start working. So I usually make a simple plan. I think about the most important tasks of the day. Maybe I need to prepare a lesson. Maybe I need to record a video. Maybe I need to answer messages. Maybe I need to work on something for my students. I write down the things I need to do. Then I decide which task I want to do first. I do not like doing many things at the same time. I prefer to focus on one thing. When I finish one task, I move on to the next one. This makes my day feel more organized. Instead of thinking, I have so many things to do, I can simply ask myself, what is the first thing I need to do? Then I start, one task at a time. That feels much easier. Sometimes, before I start working, I take a few minutes for myself. I sit near the window. I drink my coffee. I look outside, and I enjoy the quiet. Sometimes I think about my goals. I think about the things I want to achieve. I think about my work. And I think about my future plans. I believe a few quiet minutes in the morning can make a big difference. They help me start the day with a clear mind. I do not need 30 minutes. I do not even need 10 minutes. Sometimes just a few quiet minutes are enough. I sit, I breathe, I think. Then I begin my day. Of course, not every morning is perfect. Sometimes I wake up late. Sometimes I do not sleep well. Sometimes I feel tired. Sometimes I have too many things to do. And sometimes I simply do not want to get out of bed. On those mornings, my routine is different. I wake up. I get ready quickly. I have something small for breakfast. Then I start working. I do not always have time for a slow and relaxing morning. And that is okay. A routine does not have to be perfect. It can change from day to day. Some mornings are quiet. Some mornings are busy. Some mornings are easy. Some mornings are difficult. That is normal. The important thing is to keep going. When I have more free time, I sometimes exercise in the morning. I do not always go to the gym. Sometimes I just stretch for a few minutes. I stretch my arms and legs. I move my shoulders and neck. Sometimes I go for a short walk. Even a short walk can make me feel more energetic. I like moving my body in the morning because it helps me feel awake. It gives me a little more energy. But I do not exercise every morning. Some days I have more work. Some days I need more sleep. So I listen to my body and decide what is best for me. I think that is important. A routine should help you. It should not make you feel stressed. After that, I am usually ready to start my workday. I sit at my desk. I open my computer. I check my plans. I look at my list of tasks. Then I start with the most important thing. If I am teaching, I prepare my lesson. I check my notes. I prepare the materials I need. I think about what I want my students to learn. If I am recording a video, I prepare everything before I start. I check the camera. I check my notes. I make sure everything is ready. Sometimes recording a video is easy. Everything goes smoothly. But sometimes I make many mistakes. Sometimes I have to record the same part several times, but that is normal. I do not expect everything to be perfect. I just continue until I am happy with the result. And I think this is also a good lesson for English learners. You do not have to speak perfect English. You just have to keep practicing. You will make mistakes. That is okay. Mistakes are part of learning. Now I want you to practice with me. I will ask you some simple questions about your morning. Do not worry about making mistakes. Take your time. Think in simple English. Are you ready? Okay, let us begin. Question 1. What time do you usually wake up? You can say, I usually wake up at 7, or I usually wake up at 6. Very good. Question 2. What do you do after you wake up? You can say, I wash my face. I brush my teeth. I make my bed. I take a shower. Excellent. Question 3. What do you usually have for breakfast? You can say, I have eggs and bread. I have yogurt and fruit. I have oatmeal. Or I have coffee and toast. Very good. Question 4. Do you drink tea or coffee? You can say, I usually drink tea. I usually drink coffee. Or I drink both. Excellent. One more question. What do you usually do before you start work or school? Maybe you make a plan. Maybe you exercise. Maybe you check your messages. Maybe you have breakfast. Maybe you sit quietly for a few minutes. There is no perfect answer. The important thing is that you are practicing English. Now let us put everything together. I want you to describe your morning in 5 simple sentences. You can use this pattern. I usually wake up at, then I For breakfast, before I start my day, I take your time. You do not need a long answer. 5 simple sentences are enough, and you can practice the same sentences tomorrow, then the next day, and the next day. Little by little, your English will become easier. You may not notice the change immediately, but with regular practice, you will improve. Before we finish, let us quickly review today's useful phrases. I wake up. I get out of bed. I wash my face. I brush my teeth. I take a shower. I get dressed. I have breakfast. I check my phone. I make a plan. I start working. And remember these useful expressions. I prefer. I try to. It depends on. Sometimes These are simple phrases, but simple phrases are powerful. You can use them every day. You can use them at home. You can use them at work. And you can use them when talking to friends. So that is what a normal morning looks like for me. I wake up around 7. I get out of bed. I open the curtains. I make my bed. I wash my face. I brush my teeth. I take a shower. I get dressed. I have breakfast. I drink tea or coffee. I check my important messages. I make a simple plan. Sometimes I exercise. Sometimes I sit quietly for a few minutes, and then I start my workday. Of course, your morning may be completely different. Maybe you wake up earlier. Maybe you wake up later. Maybe you drink tea. Maybe you drink coffee. Maybe you exercise. Maybe you do not exercise. That is okay. Your routine is your routine. You do not need a perfect morning. You just need a morning that helps you feel ready for your day. And the same is true for English. You do not need perfect English. You need regular practice. You need simple sentences, and you need the courage to use them. So, before you leave, write 2 or 3 sentences about your morning in the comments. For example, I usually wake up at 7. I have breakfast and drink tea. Then I start work. Now it is your turn. Write your morning in English. Do not worry about mistakes. Just try. Every sentence you write is practice. Every sentence you speak is practice. And every day, your English can become a little easier. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Keep listening, keep repeating, keep practicing, and keep your English flowing. I am Emma. This is English Flow Podcast. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next episode. Goodbye, everyone.